Hi,
to have you
Hilda.
guys meet in
We
this
were
show.
just talking. We were just talking in the back, so it's not like.
We were, we were, we were talking. Well,
Yeah.
actually, the conversation was going very much in line with our discussion today. You know, how life is life, right? And we were
Right.
just talking about people and, past and
Yeah.
all of different stuff.
I think it's
And how
interesting
we each
that
have one.
was that
I said, and how we each have a path.
right, and that's the thing. And my mind now, and you open another Pandora's box. But before that, let me introduce you to my friend. I'm not showing if it's showing to the left or right, but this is my friend Hilda. Uh,
That's
my
right.
absolute lovely friend from Nova Scotia, Organic to the Land Stories. Okay.
Yeah.
You can check her out. She's amazing. We do lives every weekend on each other's. We switch, kind of switch on each other's
Do that
channels. But
alternation.
right. Um, last week was, I forgot what it was. What was
Well,
it
I'm
about?
going to say, since we're talking about it, folk, we do alternate back and forth on each other's
We do
channel.
alternate.
And right now, folk, just to let you all know that Red Meat is in India. And
Yeah.
so there is a time zone that's going on difference between us. So, you know, um, we used to go at a different time for anyone that is following from my end of things. I'm explaining
Right.
really what's going on right now. So we changed up the time because actually it is like 10:30 in the morning here, but it is actually like 8:30 or something like that at night where
Well,
you're
it's
at.
8. Yeah, it's 8 p.m.
It's
Yes.
5 o'clock my time, or
Right.
right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Change of places.
and
What is
thank you,
that?
Rick. I said welcome everybody. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure. And
Mhm.
today we wanted to talk about this. I think the book that most of the people know, if it's called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho,
Well,
right?
mhm.
Uh-huh. And Hilda was talking about it last week, and I was like, you know what, we should we should talk about this one, because like Hilda was mentioning before, we each one has a path, even if we don't believe it. But along the same lines, the discussion that we were having, what came to my mind was that even the decisions that we do make, um, it has a path and we can see it, where it's going, where it's heading, or not. And do we want to take that path? So definitely there are always alternate um, paths, which I think we call it past lives, but I think that's how it works. Um, Anyways, that's a separate topic. But yeah, today's, you had the book
Every,
in your hand, right?
everybody has a
Right.
mission. Their
Everybody has a
life,
mission.
and you know, uh, what I love about this book is it is a book of. It's really about finding your acknowledging your life's mission, or they call it life. Your personal legend is what they call it in the book.
Personal
But,
legend.
but it's
Yes.
really your life's mission. What we are your life's mission, and what does that look like? In
Right.
all the lessons that are impacted along the way, if you
Mm,
choose to look at them, just yeah, that's a lesson.
right. It's really like exactly like you said. The gist is finding your purpose and the fears that we come across, and like um and everybody goes through those. He describes them as stages, right? Really.
Right.
um and it's really about following your dreams at the end of the day. um, so it's really simply written, and I really like that, because any person, even if they read or not, can, it's easier to follow. um but I think the whole book is just, I was highlighting the whole time because I was reading it today. And it's funny, like the same book you read at different stages of your life and you see different things and you
Mhm.
relate. things differently. So yeah, absolutely, absolutely. um but yeah, um what do you think about the personal legend, Hilda? What do you think, what is your experience about
Oh
your
boy,
personal legend?
my
What
personal
it
election.
Yeah, what
It,
does it
it
mean to you?
oh yeah, that we all have a that mission. Some of us have a mission, but we're all born with that something to do. We're all born with some form of an assignment. And, from the day that we are born is to figure out what that is. Here's the deal. In figuring out what that mission is, you have to go through the whole process of, I'll call it the deprogramming, because we're really, really, the programming is set up.
Yes.
Because if you notice, like you're saying, how do I see it? I'm just going to compare it to the young man, because this whole story is based on well, he starts out a
Right.
shepherd boy, and I think it's in the middle eastern
Right. He
countries.
starts from Spain and then
He-
he goes to Africa.
Yeah, but
Right.
he starts, with his father is I don't know whether his father was a merchant, and then instead of being a merchant, he doesn't want to be a merchant. He wants to be a traveler. And his father says, that's really not practical. So we're talking about back in the, oh my God, maybe the 1500s, somewhere. I'm going to say likely
Right.
maybe around that time. But not to lose the point, life being very set in stone at that time that, what, no, you follow your father's tradition, then you get married. And you know what? That's what this boy didn't want to do that. He wanted to actually travel and see the world. And even though
Yeah.
his father gave him every um, aspect on why it was just not the most realistic thing. He comes up at the very end and says, "Well, no, I'll be a shepherd boy." And from becoming a shepherd boy, taking his own path
Yeah.
and taking the chance, unfolded
Hmm.
so many lessons. So it was but being that shepherd boy was a part of his life's mission. It was a
Right.
part of his mission, right?
It was interesting. Like the Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, but
Oh, keep going, please.
but like the conversation between his father and him about was really interesting for me because he asked his father was like, "Oh, everybody, comes and visit this place, and this is the best place ever. Everyone wants to live here." But he was like, "I want to see where these people are coming from. Like that's what I'm interested in." So you see what I mean? And then he gives his and sorry, just a moment. Sorry about that. Um, but the conversation between his father and him was really interesting. Um, and then he gives him the gold coin that he found in the field, and he gives it to his son because he wanted to do it at some point, but he couldn't. And he says, the only way that traveling requires money, but only shepherds can do that. And this guy is like, okay, I'm gonna be a shepherd. So that was, I
That's right.
think,
For sheep off of that. That's right.
right. And I think for me, it was interesting to see that this guy had fire in him to, right, like passion. He was a passionate person to challenge it. And he's like, he's asking his parents, like, that's what I want. How can I do that? And his father, being at whatever experiences he had, he suggests like you can become a shepherd. So that was interesting for me, and that's how the journey starts, right? And we talk like each one of us has our own programming, but then we figure out a way to. I think life will always give us an alternate path, but it requires courage, right? To pursue it, um, and the little choices that we make.
And I'll tell you that the I loved once again about this, which you asked me, what did I feel about personal
Yeah,
legends, and
right,
um, it didn't. I'll put it to you this way. I remember starting in the job force, faking
right,
faking my resume, and I'm 15 years old. I faked. I faked that I told them that I was 16 because I wanted to work. I wanted to make money, right? And then I was
right,
utilizing all the things that I could do, and do some cooking at 15. Yes, I could do some cooking. Anyways, to make a long story short, ended up getting a job after faking it out, but it didn't remain. It was only a part of that journey because you know what? That went on to being, I went on to do, oh my goodness, working in healthcare, into the nursing home at an early stage.
right,
And it was, no, that's not all that I want to do, but it was a part of my life's path. One,
right.
one thing, navigating around people. One
Mm,
took me to a boarding house in my beginning, cooking for a boarding house, which navigating people in that way. The other
right,
people, the other thing brought me around people in the sense of caring for them from the perspective, from a health perspective, right? But two
right,
things coming together, which I guess you say about my life's path, being a part of my life's path, and that is working with people. Do you see?
right.
Going
Mm,
beginning, all of them adding to some sort of an experience, like
right.
his in the story, because he didn't remain a shepherd boy,
No, he did
right? But it was
not.
all a part of his experience. And
Right,
remember that part in the book where he is his journey begins. He buys a sheep, but then he meets the girl, the merchant's daughter, and he thinks
right.
that that's what his mission is. He
Yeah.
that starts out with that, but it continues to go. I think I'm getting off track, but you see what I'm saying? You say, what's your
Absolutely.
life's mission? To continue to grow. It's about continuing to grow, continuing to get continuing to get the lessons, continuing to
Right,
evolve, and recognizing that has it's all a part. It's all a part
right.
of the process.
Mm, that is so true. Nothing ever goes to waste, right? It's for example, in the story, like that's how he learns about his power, and like, we that's how we start. All of us start like that, and we continue to seek validation from outside, but then eventually we come at a point where it's like you realize that it's you actually,
Yeah,
you know, that is the most costly thing ever that we own. The experience of this life is the most expensive thing that we do own. But
mhm,
it takes us a path to get there. I don't think nobody's born with it, is what I'm trying to say. Um, it's when we go through those experiences when we realize how powerful we are,
right.
and of course, that what you said, like yours is working with people. Um, I think that is interesting, right? Because in the story, like it's interesting that I'll just read from the story. It says he recognized that he was feeling something he had never experienced before, the desire to live in one place forever, with the girl with the raven hair. Here, his days would never be the same again. So it's a desire, right? And I think we
Right,
all go through that. We
right.
feel like once maybe when we achieve this, we're gonna feel a certain way. which is what happened in the Soul movie too. Like he thought he would present on stage and he would experience something else, but he doesn't. And that's a part of life that, we set goals and then we reach them, and the process is amazing, and I think that's the whole point. um but then once we get there, there's no like it
Right.
experience, right? But
What now?
then you have,
At least with
yeah,
what now? There's always and it
there's always a,
and it changes. It
and I think
changes.
there, yeah, and there's beauty in it, right? There is, yeah,
What's that?
there's beauty in desires too. I think
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
because I grew up in the East, and it's like, oh my god, like, oh, there's a shame around having desires. um West is all about desires, so you see, like, um i think that I think desires are what keep us going. If we don't have a goal, what are we living for? It will be like he says in the book, and I don't know, I might have to read it again and again because there was so many good things here. Like he says that,
It follows their. You know what? Most people get
yeah,
derailed off their mission, and what
right.
what I say derailed. It's because um fear of failure, the
Mm,
fear of taking a chance. You know what? So they settle, and
right.
because there was the merchant that lived vicariously.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
paper, actually, that came passing through his shop.
right. I know, and it's interesting, right? Like when the in the beginning, not in the beginning, but maybe in between, um, that king disguised as someone else, I guess, points out to a shopkeeper and says this guy had a different legend, but he chose to settle in,
Yes.
because he thought it gives him safety and shelter and all of that, and which is what most of us do, right? We it's easy to settle down, and it's comforting, you know it's just comforting. And but the question is that, and I just want to read that because the way he said it was, I mean, this book is just something. um
Yes, folks, this is the book, as you can see it via the title, The Alchemist.
right.
I love the colors in this book. Well, the color of
Yeah,
you know, that something about that
right.
orange from my spirit and yellow.
Where is it? Okay, hold on, it's supposed to be, okay, the old, okay, it was a baker. I'll just read a little bit. I think it's
Yeah.
just interesting. The old
Really.
man pointed to a baker standing in his shop window at one corner of the plaza, and he says, when he was a child, that man wanted to travel too, but he first decided to buy his bakery and put some money aside. When he's an old man, he's going to spend a month in Africa. He never realized that people are capable at any time in their lives of doing what they dream of. So you see, that's the thing too. We think like,
Mm.
oh, there's something when we get old, then we're going to travel, and it's like when we're old, or if we have a certain amount of money, that's you're right.
Perspective on how we think about things.
Right. But and then he says, but bakers are, and that's the thing. It's the thing, right? We prioritize, okay, let's become an engineer because they earn more than becoming
Yes.
an artist, which is
Yes.
more
Healing your
fulfilling.
spirit.
Right. And it's like here it says, but bakers are more important people than shepherds. Bakers have homes while shepherds sleep out in the open. Parents would
Yeah.
rather see their children marry bakers than shepherds. You see, like, it's the programming, right? Is
Yeah.
it's the programming. But like, I really wanted to say, there's one line that is so, it's making me think so much. Let me see. Uh, let me see if it doesn't come out. in a second. I'm just gonna um, paraphrase it. Okay, I'm just gonna paraphrase it. So the basically the line was, which I feel deeply, is there is pain in pursuing your purpose, but that pain you can bear it. But the pain of um consistently um being in unconscious pain all the time is what we go through when we are not on our path,
Mm,
and that kills you, because the other one you can bear it, right? Because life is never going on a straight path, right? So we go through ups and downs, but like this pain where you just are not pursuing your purpose is the most unbearable pain that we are all living in. And then we unconsciously, and we talk about it on this channel, on our channels, like, the distractions, the addictions, all of that is because of that, right?
remember the merchant that um along the shepherd's journey, he ends up working for the glass merchant, the crystal merchant.
Right,
And
right.
he goes there and ends up working there. But in the meantime, that same merchant was one too that what really didn't fulfill his journey. Like he wanted to go
Mm-hmm.
to Mecca too, because this is where the young shepherd boy is going. His journey. He's going to
Right,
go to Mecca because there's a
right.
treasure he's learned that's come
There's a
there. And
treasure.
exactly, there's his treasure.
Mm,
He thinks that that's
His
his
treasure.
personal merchant. And so the merchant, ironically, didn't follow his dream. Thought, well, why do I need to go now? I've seen many come past me. I hear them. They come back. They do the same thing. Yeah, yeah, they're happy. But you know what? I kind of like fulfilling. I don't have to fulfill that. I'm gonna do that. My fulfillment is just watching them now because
Mm,
um I'm too old, whatever his excuses were, or also not enough money. Hello, Amina. But my
Hi,
point being,
mom.
because of his narrow-minded thinking, he didn't
Right.
even want to expand. But the young shepherd boy eventually got him to expand by, putting his glassware outside, which what made the business go boom. He ends up making more money. He could have
Right.
went to Mecca, filling it out in some ways. Do you understand? He come to realize. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
And yeah, and I think it's hold on. There was some point that I'm trying, like,
So many points,
I know this book is just really good. I mean, there's just so
small
much
but
treasure.
with
Mighty.
lessons.
Right. Yeah, and I think, like, in the book he says the king, right? That is disguised as this man, like old man. Um
Hmm.
I think that one thing that he said was, and I'm just reading it from the book right now. It says that the soul of the world is nourished by people's happiness and also by unhappiness, envy, and jealousy. To realize one's personal legend is a personal person's only real obligation. All things are one. And I think that's the thing. How do you know it's your path? You get light, you feel it lights you up. It
Yeah.
brings you joy. And I think that's somehow we lose that focus in life. We start pursuing money thinking it will make us happy when it doesn't, and we don't even look back to see if it's really making us happy, or are we in the rat race now, and um, but to really sit down and think about whatever you're doing, is it giving you joy, and to pursue things that actually give you joy. And that particular merchant, I don't think he really checked. And so,
And
Yeah,
I'm just
and
gonna say that the universe will send you omens, what they call omens, which is like signs.
yeah, yeah,
It's something that you gotta be watching for the signs and being able to
that is
interpret because it
true.
will let you know when you're on your right path. And most of us
It's
avoid
yeah.
the signs because
Oh
we
my
don't
God.
we're
Yes,
part of the process. Everything is a
it
part of it.
is.
It's always called conspiring. That's another thing that's being brought into the book to give us that it works. It's working with us to give us what it is that we want.
Right? Yeah. Actually, let's talk about fear because I think losing what that shopkeeper already had. Um, Fear of the unknown. Like, what do you think about this? Like, and how has it impacted your life or not? Um, yeah. What do you think?
You know what? When I think that's why this book um it really resonated with me because I do consider myself an alchemist. I learned that what my whole friggin' life has been about alchemy, but like there is different stages, and you want to talk about okay wow having gone through and being in survival mode. There's life past
Mm.
survival mode, and
Oh
it's
my
taking
God.
this all over again. Yes, you learn some powerful
Yeah.
lessons. And you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it can leave you in a place of fearful. It can leave you still. And so I'm coming through that survival mode and realizing that I need to stop letting my fear get in the way. So yeah, um, I'm
Oh my God. It's making me cry.
here to prevent me from um, taking the next step, and that's the step of empowerment, which
Yeah.
So yeah, this book's personal.
It is.
Because I know
Mm.
that life after survival mode, and I am.
How?
I definitely know. I know I'm on my path, and one would say, well, what do you mean when you say survival mode? It means that I
Mm.
don't feel like I'm fully thriving because life is
Mm.
really about thriving and it's about living. And sometimes we're
Mm.
in a in between, and in that in between, in the in between, sometimes there's no movement because
Yeah.
life is sending you to your next place in space, but you just got to figure out what that is, especially when you don't know. So for me, that's what survival mode is, and coming out of it. That's what it looks like to me. For you, it might look like something different. When you say, um,
I think, yeah. I feel you. How did you? I'm sorry. Like, I'm really because not many people might know your story, but like, how did you overcome your fear? Like, what do you do when you, or what is the sign that you feel when you're in fear, and how do you overcome it or have in the past?
when you have, well, first of all, you know what? It's a process. Because for those of you
Mm.
that don't really know my journey, you know,
Mm.
ooh, I have had a journey of survival, coming from poverty at a very early age. And when I say poverty, there's extreme poverty. And coming through that, as well as coming from a people, and I'm going to say that because there's a reason why on my channel, and the name of my channel is Organic to the Land. Because when I say organic to the land, I'm talking about a people who are the original people. I come from one of the original people of the lands of where I live. And we have rich history. It's also a very distorted history. So th- that has had an impact on all of the families. And there's a reason why, you know what, certain ones have experienced such extreme poverty and extreme conditions. So there is a story. So if you follow our story here in the Americas, then you will understand that there's a story behind this story of the so-called Indian. Anyways, so
Right.
that's a part of who I am, and it's been a part of my survival, coming from many generations of survival. But nonetheless, to say I'm here, and as I said, in spite of, in spite of, um, when I look at the path of where I come from, and many didn't make it to my age. I'm going to be 60 years old, but many didn't make it to my age. Do you see what I'm
Wow.
saying? Conditions prevented them. And for those that
Yeah.
did, what did it look like? Anyways, a story to a
Yeah.
story to a story.
Yeah. There's this line in the book that really matches what you're saying. It said that treasure is uncovered by like flowing water or something, and it is also covered by the flowing water,
Hmm.
the force of flowing water. And that's the thing, when for whatever reason, like you said, you're talking about intergenerational, like ancestor stuff, that also hides, um that trauma can take over the majority of your life force, um and can be difficult for you to, and require some, it's not like it's impossible, but it does require you to do some serious inner inquiry to get out of it. Um,
You have
so
to heal.
yeah, it is powerful.
You when you're talking about trauma that has been passed down, even given to you through your DNA, let alone that of in which you have
Right.
experienced, but you're experiencing the
But
trauma of. So there is a need for the healing
right.
as you go forward. Listen,
Right.
you ain't gonna make it
With
through if you don't, because you're just gonna end up, you
yeah.
know.
And that's the thing, right? And that's, I think, also the social conditioning, the belief systems that we are passed on. I think that's how we pass on a lot of this stuff, right? In our families, in our future generations.
Mm-hmm.
um so yeah, it does require you to do some serious um self inquiry. It's not, I don't think it's not, it's impossible. I think that's what we are here for. um but yeah, again, um if you're in, if your conditioning is so strong, it can be difficult for you to even understand what your sole purpose is, or what are you here to do. But another thing I want to say is that no matter what you do, you will always feel that inner pull, and like that has been a constant in my life. No matter what you go through, it's like there's something inside you that will keep calling, and you feel like, I don't know, why do I feel like this? And then you start scrolling, but the thing is that you will never stop feeling it. So that
Mm-hmm.
is a beautiful, that is powerful. Thank God. Otherwise, it's like it can be difficult, especially in today's world where there are a lot of distractions, um,
That's
and
the importance
habits.
of of centering and
Yes.
it's like I said, you know what, removing yourself from the programming or deprogramming yourself. Because when you do that and you start centering and you start looking at what you feel, what you want, and it's really, really identifying with what you feel. Because when you feel, You start to
Right.
connect with the world that is around you. You're more aware of all the world that is around you, where the programming doesn't necessarily have you connected to the world that's around you. And it doesn't have you feeling anything. It's telling you how it is that you should respond into a situation, or it's telling you what it is that what you should be doing. Here's the map of success,
Right.
or you know,
Uh-huh.
not what is going
Right.
what is going to make you successful. And that's what finding the journey within.
That's true. And
But
I think the
most
challenge
people
is,
take that journey within because on what that might look like, right?
yeah, and I don't know why I'm getting reminded by one of Osho's, I don't know if you know Osho or people are watching the replay or live. Um, but one of his he shared his experiences of that his childhood was spent with his like his grandfather, like grandparents, and they did not tell him anything. Like they did not tell him what to do, which is exactly why he became what he became.
Mhm,
It gave him space to just be himself. And I think
mhm,
not many people are granted this beautiful gift, because the book does talk about it, but in the early years we know exactly what we want to do. um,
mhm,
but then we are fed with all of these expectations and beliefs and society rules, all of that, and somehow in all of that
mhm,
and that weight, we kind of lose context of what makes us or gives us joy. So I
mhm,
think it is paramount, I think, to, if you don't have that as part of your childhood, then like you were saying, Hilda, like really taking out the time to, or finding practices to center yourself and spend more time with yourself, where you can um, find out what that is, right? Or give yourself, I will even go a step ahead, um, seek out experiences in life. And there are a lot of experiences that you can, so that you can find more of yourself, because I think that is a big part of um, healing. I don't think, um, I think I have healed with people and through experiences, rather than just reading, because I think that this world is, like, the book does talk about it, and maybe I'll segue into that. Like you did talk about omens and the various people that we meet on our way, and the universe will send you signs that, hey, you're on your path, and just keep going. Like, it is so interesting. Like, I was just talking to my mom before this. Like, yesterday I had a weird kind of day, and
yeah,
when I was leaving, Hilda, I saw this sign, not sign exactly. It was like a white wall or something, and on it was written angel. I'm like, angel? Like, I'm in India. What are you talking about? But you see, like, the universe does speak to you if you're paying attention. So it's like, hey, you're on the right path. Just keep going.
right.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
You know what? Listen, I'm going to leave it to you, but it is a very powerful example of
Right.
everything that we were just talking about. So I don't know how comfortable you are in wanting to share your experience, but if you want to, it's a very good time to share because it just clicks right up in how you
So,
listen to your own intuition and even you have to
okay.
do anything, but you know what? You can't share part of that experience and then think that we're gonna figure it out because we go
I
ahead.
just not I'll not go that personal, but I will say that um I met up with a person yesterday that was exactly like me 10 years ago.
Mm.
And I grew up with a lot of religious trauma and social conditioning and all of that. And it took me like almost this a decade, maybe more, to get out of it. And it was just interesting for me to like universe, you know, I don't know, testing me. I'm not sure, but like I just basically said no, no, I'm not interested. And when I was leaving, I saw this sign off like angel, which was um, like, so that's the background if someone is interested, but it is powerful. I think that knowing, and I don't think I could have done that 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And that says a lot about, and thank God, like you know, I don't believe in that white man God. I'm just saying the omniscient, omnipresent spirit, right? Um, it really has helped me, and I can see my journey, right? My self worth journey, I would rather call it. Um, and that's what even Santiago in this book goes through is um, he questions himself, but then he eventually realizes the treasure is him, like within him, and that's him. But that whole journey, and now it's just interesting. I think how
You know what? I want to go back to your experience that you just shared. You just said it. You
what
know, like no, no. But when he was talking and he started talking about the whole God thing, religion thing, it was like, oh no, that does no longer resonate with me.
right?
And as he talked, you know what? You realize this is not going to work out. You have to continue to spend the
Yeah.
time
In
because
in
you
uh in in the first few minutes, I was like no, but I still give people grace because I think that just because they're different from you does not mean that you should, you can still be compassionate and it's okay. um
absolutely, absolutely. But you know, here's what I'm saying is like, um,
yeah,
listen, you could
yeah,
well, you could work around this. Yep, yep, yep. Because you know what, very attractive, got this and that going on, and I could work around that. I could work around those core value things. I'll work around those core value things. Let's see how that one works out. Because a lot of people
right.
do,
A lot
and
of people do. Yes.
they will compromise their own sense of being or happiness or whatever for people are doing it all the time. I'm saying though that you know what, um, uh, those people usually walk away from their mission, their real life's mission.
Right.
You know, they've already compromised it.
And that's what I was talking to my mom about. I'm like, people marry for different reasons. Some people marry for money or a sense of belonging, or they're scared of being alone, or like there are a lot of things, societal conditioning. Um, in the past,
Mhm.
only men used to work, so women used to rely on them for finances. There are a lot of reasons
Right.
people marry for. Even now, people do it. But like you said, it's not worth it. At the end of the day, if it's there are some things that you can compromise on, but your values and your beliefs, mm, I don't think that's something you can change, and you should not change in anyone. It's about you take the person as they are.
Right.
Why do you want to change them?
Right. Right.
Like that, they're not the only person in the world, right? So like why that's the thing. Um, we compromise, but and I think that this book really focuses on that particular aspect of don't give up just because you have been on this path for too long. It's when you give up that's the point where you should keep going because
Another good point too, I thought, because there comes a point within the because he does meet the alchemist, the so-called
right,
alchemist. Because throughout the pilgrimage of this whole story and journey, eventually He learns of the alchemist, who the alchemist is, and then he finds another companion who's looking for the alchemist. They do find the
Right.
alchemist. And one of the words of advice that had been given right from the beginning, I would say, and that is, or that I won't say right from the beginning, but he learned shortly into his journey that your
Uh-huh.
desire, what you think you desire today, which for him it was the gal. First he wanted the merchant
It
gal,
was the
right?
girl.
And he went
Right.
his whole existence. Well, that was
Right.
his desire. He would look forward to that meeting up with her.
Right.
But remember, he's got this dream that he's had about this treasure. So that's his. He's off to see his treasure.
Mm.
Runs into this girl. How does the girl become part of the? He wants to stay now and place some roots. First time because of the girl, but then he
Mm.
doesn't because the alchemist says, you can't let a person, because if they're meant to be in your life, they will be there on your return, basically. So not letting a person stop
Yes.
from your
Yes.
life's mission. And how many times I
Yes.
think this, how many times have I let people take me off my path, whether it be just
Mm.
friends or
Right.
lovers who have taken me off my path? You know? Yeah, I'm
That
gonna say,
is
yeah,
that is powerful because it took me a long time to get it too. Like
that if someone's meant for you,
in the book it says that, and I'm paraphrasing, he says that we forget that the right people will always be there with you no matter what, no matter
burn.
which and that's the thing, right? um
Hmm.
Sometimes, and that is, oh wow, it is something that
Yeah,
is groundbreaking if you were to
yeah.
get it.
Once again, listen, good book. And the fact that they're getting people to do this in high school, and that my niece actually came to me about this book and said, "Listen, I'm doing the
um
I oh, I think it's because it's making them think. And when you think about them
yeah,
embarking on life, you know, so much of it is about programming, and then really they should be
yeah.
finding their own mission. So it's I never ever did get to go back and ask her how she unpacked that in her English. Hopefully.
Yeah. This is I wish I had read this when I was young, because
Hmm.
and maybe I did. I don't even remember, but but like your brains, they develop as you go through life. But yeah, I also think that, sorry, just a moment. I think like the courage is a big part of the journey. And like we were talking about persisting no matter what happens. I
Hmm.
think it is a big part of this. We are a generation or society of giving up, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Not everyone, but I think anything worth having requires patience, um, and
That's
also courage, right?
especially, especially today, when we think of a world that is so freaking ever changing. And are you going to be just transparent, or you know what? Are you going to allow some of what's happening to build some character, find out more
Hmm.
about you? And I'm saying
Right.
that because you know what, we are in. Listen, we are living through times of where you know what, you will either build some character getting through these times, or you know what, you do
Yeah.
have a people that want to give up.
Yeah. I think, I mean, like I'll just I'll just talk about myself. I have been in victim mode, um big part of my life until I realized um, that that's just how life is. Life is never easy,
Mm,
and there are certain things that happen which are not very fun to go through, but they just you just go through them. And also that you, I think in a way, universe does test you um, before granting you something big. You know, you don't just get this at a store. You know,
say that, and depending on, you know what, they call it a test because
right,
did you get the lesson? So
right,
depending on the severity of the test and how much that test keeps coming, because sometimes the same test keeps coming because you didn't get the lesson, right?
right, and it does like it does feel like a test in a way because it's not like I don't even know how to describe it. I don't even know where I'm going with this, but I think that if you want to be at a certain position, you need to qualify to be at that position. And I
Right,
think that's why it's called a test because
right.
if you give a monkey a diamond, it's going to throw it away.
And you cannot. Well, this is it. This is it. That's why you can't pass go until, and that's why the same
No. So
test will
you need to,
repeat. You
yeah.
can't throw a monkey a diamond, or yeah, that's what. Just throw it away. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
So
yeah.
you have to evolve into a human to understand its importance, right? Um, so yeah, I think it's a journey. It's a
It
journey
is.
to become the person you're meant to be. I don't think you are born with it. You do have a seed in you, but I think that the journey is what then, mm, it- mm,
Yes.
germinates and then makes you into that beautiful person that you're supposed to be.
Mhm.
Um, and it's not a fun process, but that's what life is. I think it's much more than just pleasure, right? Which is what
It's
our
just then, you know what, we only learn through some of the when you feel the sting of certain things. Like that's when most of the when we feel the sting, that's when we start to learn. Or that will sometimes also move action. It's the sting that moves
yeah,
us into action, right? So if there was no sting, we wouldn't be moving. We'd be
right.
just comfortable with, and we know how comfortability only lasts for so long. And if you're comfortable with
That's the
being
thing,
comfortable with movement, there is not growth. I've been guilty of being
right?
comfortable, just being comfortable,
Same.
but no freaking
Ditto.
growth. There isn't.
There's no
So
growth. It is a thing. Um, I mean, in Gurbani, like one of the lines of Guru Nanak is that um, dukh daru, meaning that pain is actually like medicine.
yes.
Sukh rog pe, meaning like the pleasure um, puts you in dis-ease long term. You know what I'm saying? Like it can become a dis-ease.
Oh yeah.
And latest example, I was like sick for almost 2 weeks, and I was like, I am so grateful for being healthy.
Yes.
I did not appreciate, you don't appreciate your body unless
Oh
you get sick. And then
yeah.
everything comes into perspective and it's like, oh my God, like health is the most important thing you have.
It is.
You see?
It
You
is.
don't
Oh,
realize that when you're okay, you don't get it. You're like, we lose perspective.
I had. I told you I had my foot issue. Remember, I banged my foot, and before
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
this had a plantar folk. And for all of you that know that, oh my God, it was just like one thing after another. And you know what? My whole point being, just as you said, how it can you realize health, walking, something as simple as walking,
Right.
extremely important to your life.
It is like it is 100%. I think that the experiences that we go through are not always comforting, but that's exactly what you need at that point. And I'm glad that there is a system like that built in, whoever created us, right? Because otherwise we would never know. We would never know what's going on, right? Um, we lose perspective really quickly. And last month, I had this really bad sprain in my back. Like I couldn't move. I could move. And that's when you realize, you know, you go back and you rewind your whole life. You're like, what did I do with my body? Like, why am I going through this?
In your
That's the
body
thing.
also, because when I go back there and I think about that
It does.
in the summer, it was also telling me, you know what, you got to slow down. I
You gotta
remember
slow
that
down.
foot. It was about slowing down. It was a reminder that you know what and you know what, you're not being cognizant and you're not paying attention to
Mm,
yourself. A whole bunch of friggin' different
mm.
things that came via that had to become. They had to come through that, right? They had to
They
come.
had to come through. And that's another thing that I'm actually grateful for because, and I think, I don't even know how, if I'm saying, it's like everything will has a certain like has everything, every action that we take has a consequence. And I'm
Mhm.
glad that we can see our consequences. Otherwise, we are lost, right?
Yeah.
We'd be lost. We'd be like, I
Yeah.
don't know what's important. I don't know what to do. And I think that that's the beauty of life. It will always tell you
Mhm.
where you're headed and what's going on, you know. And then some things like accidents happen, for example, and we're like, why did that happen? Well, there's a reason. Maybe your government needs to do something, you know, like there's always a reason. Or maybe you're not driving well, and there's
Right.
always a learning, right?
Right. Being
So
called because most of the time we're not walking aware. Once again, we're not walking around with an awareness
we're not
because
walking
during
around.
programming we are programmed to be uh, focused exteriorly, not interiorly. Mhm. You know,
Yeah, and and you know, like in the story, like Fatima, and I think you did talk about it. She supports Santiago, and I think that's how you know your people. They will push you to be you. They will want to be, um to make you more of yourself. They will support your journey. Um that's how you know they are your people, right? And they will call you out, and vice versa. You know, like I think
yeah, because you know what?
people should call you out.
Yes, and not only that, but
Hey.
there was such a learning for the both of them because you know
Right.
what? She was um
Yeah.
she knew that if he was meant to be in that if it was if what he was saying because you know he tells her he loves her all that good this is the Fatima who's in the
Right.
village we'll call it.
Right.
She knows letting him go if he's really hers she'll come back he'll come back to her and he did eventually come back to her. He did.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing. Like I don't know about the West, but like in the East, it's like, oh, you're married, you're done for life. But I think that that's another belief system, conditioning rather, which the book does talk about. Like love is supposed to bring you, towards your purpose, not away from it. Like it's not supposed to be a distraction. It's
Mhm,
supposed to actually help you. You know, it's like two brains better than one, right?
mhm,
That's the thing.
mhm, mhm,
It's like
mhm.
that. It's supposed your friends and your connection, not connections, but like chosen family or otherwise. I think that's the whole point of community, is to help you, bring you to your purpose. If you don't see it in yourself, the other person can mirror that in you and give you feedback, or call you out when you're bluffing or whatever it is you're doing.
Right.
You know, um, I think it's beautiful. I think connections are beautiful, but then, um, again, to have the discernment to see what who are your people and who are not. And that's
Yeah,
something that you go through when that
yeah,
you learn through hardships and
yes.
all those experiences, that makes
Let's go
life
back to
interesting.
him. His name, Santiago, right?
Santiago.
Santiago.
Yes.
Well, Santiago
Yeah.
had experienced many different people, but he
Right.
learned a lesson from each of them. You know, each of
You
person
do.
with
Yeah.
a lesson from. That
That's
helped him
true.
along the journey, right? Not one that was bad, or but they all had their purpose.
Right. That's the
Even the wrong
thing.
one that beat him up.
That's the thing, right? That's what helps you not go into victimhood and not resent
Right,
other people when you are on your path. It's hard to feel resentful because you are living your life, and that's the whole point.
right.
um why do we resent other people? Because we are not following our path.
That's it. That's it.
Right.
The level of frustration
The
because
frustration is because you are deviating from your path. And that's like been such an important revelation for me on my journey,
mm,
that I don't compare myself with other people unless they're inspiring me, which is beautiful, right? I want to be
yes,
inspired. Um, and yeah,
powerful.
right. It
You
is.
know, I'm telling you, this went a lot better than I feel like maybe we were all over the place. But if you read the book, listen, I
Read
would
the
just
book.
read read the book. Um, if you indeed, I also like the setting that it was done in. Um,
Yeah.
it,
Yeah. Very
weirdly enough,
simple. Right.
the person that gave me the this book did not read the book. The stories that they had told me, which I don't know whether they were true stories or not now, I don't know, because I'm questioning this individual. But the individual that gave me the book, I would call them an alchemist because of just a few of the stories that they told me. And so I would use that word on them. They were given the book by someone and told to read the book. And because they didn't read the book. And I guess I'm saying this because I did say in the previous that I might give you a little bit of the juice on how I acquired this book. But my whole point being is, um, he was not, and yes, it was a he, was not an alchemist. Narcissist, yes. But thank you. Good book. Because when I started questioning him on the book, right? He didn't know anything about the book. I said, you didn't read the book, did you? He said, well, I didn't understand the book. I said, right. It would take another level of intelligence. I'm just saying. Just saying. Book. Okay, there. Dip on. I didn't have to say that, did I? I did, though. I did. Hmm.
Yeah. It's
Good.
interesting that the book does start with the story of Narcissus, right? Where he looks at his reflection in the lake, and then one day I think the lake takes over or something. Hold on, let me see. He does start with the story of Narcissus.
Hmm.
Anyways, it's not important, I guess. But um I think that the real important thing here to understand, because I was confused about my life. Still am.
Yeah.
Life and path for the longest time, because I was like, I don't like this and I don't like that. I don't like the normal things that people do. And I'm like, but I think that's the whole point of this
Mm,
book, was that each of us has a path, has a purpose,
right.
and we are here to do something. And how do you know that's your path? It will fill you up with, you will look forward to it, you'll be enthusiastic about it.
Yes.
That's how you know it's your path. It will not feel like a burden. Maybe you
Yes.
will get tired, but that's a very human thing. Um but I think it does require courage, right, to pursue it. Why? Because of how much we internalize what we are fed growing up.
Absolutely.
That's the hardest part. Because I think for a child, their caregivers and people around them is their god, right? um but then when you grow up, you realize they are just humans. They're just like us. They don't know more than us. Like, they can be wrong as well, of course. They
Right.
also have their gifts to share, but they don't know everything. But yeah, it's what else do you think? I'm just kind of concluding it. What else did we learn? um
Listen, I would just say this, that, it is about, what each person finding what their, what life's mission, I call it a life's mission, or, what you feel like you were really brought here to do, because we're all in, if you take the time to do the work, you will eventually go into that search. Why am I really here? What am I supposed
yeah,
to? And life will have been sending you signs and all of that. Don't give up. Do not give up. And sometimes, it's right at what they call the 11th hour, when we're challenged,
and
and that's when we really usually want to give up. And that's when we're almost getting ready.
yeah,
So basically, if I was to leave anyone with anything, it's don't give up. And as I said, even within my own experience, I'm not giving up. I'm going to continue on, and I'm going to suggest that you do too, because um, life has something in store for all of us, and it has something in store for you, Revney, and me. So, um, yeah, it's to keep going. And what's the next level? That there will always be some sort of a challenge. Without the challenge, you won't feel the need for the growth.
that's the thing. And I think I'm just looking back at my life, because I still struggle with this part of not feeling worthy enough for your dream, right? Because
Mm,
that's what we feel guilty. And why do we feel guilty? We're like, who am I? And look at the people around me. We start comparing. We feel guilty for feeling pleasure and
mhm.
happiness and all of the good things that um, fulfill us, right? In a way, there's certain amount of guilt. I don't know about you, but like, I think we do see, we're like, but when you shine too much, right? And it does take a certain level of um, self-worth to pursue this, right? um, that has been a major challenge for me, I think.
Because we're in a society that, what, you put yourself first, to be to put yourself out there, that comes with a negative tone of
Mm,
there's a negative tone that comes with being too assertive, and
yes, but
self-expression. You're not, self-expression is not
yeah,
as,
yeah,
encouraged, because it doesn't usually make people fall in line, and it doesn't fostering
yes,
individuality is not what they want, because they want compliance. So it doesn't go with the world.
right.
So you have to, and I listen, I have to check myself all the time, battling with that old thought process. And especially when you're right there and you're around people. And I won't say that I have to check myself all the time, because no. it's not as bad anymore. But I am aware that that sometimes is the issue when I am out and about, and it does rear its head. Sometimes when I'm dealing with my family on a whole, you know, or you know what, in also within society, and sometimes just with this
Mm.
channel, and with different topics that you know what come across. Is it too much? Is my self expression too much? You know,
Right?
uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
But I feel like, and I don't know, I'm not there yet, but I think I've started to somehow question this whole belief system. In it is a belief. It's not
mhm,
real.
mhm,
Because we internalize the pain of all those who couldn't pursue their dreams, right?
mm,
That's what we're doing. We're
mm,
like, oh, we feel bad for you. And so maybe we will not shine as much just because you couldn't.
mhm,
And I think the challenge is to understand that you had to pay the price to be where you are. It was,
right.
and to see how far you have come. My mother always tells me that I don't get it. And you have told me that, and I don't get
Yes,
it. I
yes,
undermine, and I'm meeting new people who tell me the same thing. And it's like, it's hard to see who you are and what you bring to the table when all you have done is internalize the pain of people around you, right? The woman that did not have a voice. And um, it does take a lot of courage, I think, to break that whole timeline, right? In a way. Um, because you don't
that,
know what's ahead.
no,
You
you
just
know,
know yeah, because you just know what people have done so far, and you are building something. It's a road less traveled, let's just say, right? That whole poem, it's like it's something unknown, but it does not mean it's not there. It's just like
right.
you said, you know, uh, you don't know what's coming, the fear of the unknown, right? Something that you have to overcome. And that's, I think that's where I am right now. I don't know what's coming, but I know that there is something for me, right? And to overcome the fear of uncertainty, right? And believing that you have a purpose and that you have a path. Um,
Oh, I know that I'm a contribute. I want to continue to be a contributor
right,
of positive and the support of positive change. So whether that's via
right.
my message or via something that I'm doing, and I say that because you know, being in this arena of social media, oh my goodness, you know, unfortunately,
Mm,
I put out a lot of content right now. I'm not putting out a lot of content. I think there's a lot of content creators out there contenting on the same thing. And I don't know whether that's because, you know what? My algorithm, I seem to be catching up and linking up with the same shit, the same
mm,
message over the same thing. And it doesn't seem to be a very positive message. It's either about, you know what, our collapse or our something. And I think that, you know what, yes, all of those things are happening. But at the same time, there is something good happening. There is something
right.
good happening all at the same time. And maybe I
Mm.
probably social media. I'm just
I think
social,
that, yeah.
and I just don't want to add to it. I don't want to
Well,
add to.
that's a thing. It's I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. Yesterday I shared with the same person that I have a channel and he is subscribed to me and probably watching the live or not, I don't care. But um he told me, "Oh, so what's the point of having a channel? Like, are you seeking recognition?" And I'm like, "Huh." So like the fear of judgment, the fear of your community, or I guess even fear of voicing your opinions and fear someone, um, trying to harm you. And all of these fears are real, and of course, some of them are made up, but it's a real thing. And I think that at the end of the day, we need to understand that social media is a tool. And the real point is not how many people are talking about the same thing. You have to remember, if it's coming from you, it will always be unique, even if a million people have talked about it. And that's what God is. God never makes anything duplicate anything. You see the same tree, but the leaves will be different. They'll be unique. Every person has a different face. How is that possible? Like, what?
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
but that's the belief system again that even I am working through, is to realize that maybe then you're not connected to that inner source of creativity. And that's why you're comparing yourself to others. If it's coming from your being, I mean, it will be unique. There's no way it will be similar to anyone else because it's coming from your being and it's unique. You have your own set of experiences.
Good point. Good point. I guess that's the reason why, you know what, because I say this, if it isn't coming from my authentic part of myself, then you know what,
Right,
I'm feeling like I'm in performance. So that's why you haven't seen personal videos, and you
right.
know what, I'm inspired to share. I do. I will share. And
Yeah,
lately I have not felt inspired to share, you know.
it's
So it
okay.
is
Yeah,
performance for me. And numbers, would I like to see numbers, but it's more than numbers. I don't want anybody just following me. It's as I said, if you feel my vibe, then you know what, click the subscribe if you're feeling my vibe. That means you want to be a part of the tribe because you like the conversations that I am having. You like the vibe that
right.
we do over here. You see? I don't want another follower. And I don't know how to that you see what I'm trying to say? Because there are methods you can do in order to get a bunch of subscribers, but that's not me either. Just like I wouldn't I don't know.
Yeah.
Not to
I
say that
think
it's not
that,
wrong with that. Because you know, it depends on what you want, is what I'm saying. Do you understand? Not that I don't want, I just authenticity. It's gotta remain authentic with me. And I hope that you know what I got
right.
authentic people is what I'm trying to say.
I think the part of the challenge, at least for people who grew up in conventional homes or not conventional, but like survival mode, the challenge is to set themselves free. That's the biggest challenge because we will always try to, the challenge is to not compare ourselves to others, not compare
Mm,
ourselves to what other people are doing because it's not about them. It's about your self expression.
mm,
And if you can do that, maybe take out more time to do some soul searching and just, and also I wanted to say that since you're a gardener, you would
mhm.
understand. You you don't use the land all the times. And there are times when you just let the land be and let it breathe,
Wait,
and that's okay. And that's okay. You're
yes,
letting it breathe and you're letting it rest.
yes.
And there's a time for sowing and there's a time for reaping, right? There's time for everything. And maybe the time right now is to get in touch with yourself because that's where creativity comes from. It does not come from outside. That's what I think. It does not. I
Mhm,
can reflect something in you, and that's what love is, and that's what community is. I think that sometimes we just not feeling it, and it's like someone says something, and we're like, oh my god, like you said something that really shook me, or something that lights me
Yes.
up, and you're like, that's what I want to do. And it's okay. And I think that's the whole point sometimes. But you have to see if social media is really helping you in that way.
Yes. Definitely, I would say that.
Not, yeah, not everything is for you. It is not. Seriously, it's not. I know there's a concept of knowing everything, what's going on in the world and everything. I know. But if you are talking about creativity, find your jam. Find if that's what helps you, do that. But if it's putting you in a space where where you're comparing yourselves with others, where you are undermining yourself, and you're seeing that, you can find out like what kind of space that brings you in. So yeah, but it's a
Yeah,
path, Hilda. It's
what's
a
that?
it's a journey. It's a journey, I said, because
It is. It
so
is.
keep
It is
just keep
me.
yeah, just keep going. I have a hard time too, and I'm like, I don't want to um just because I want to do something, I don't want to push myself, because that's you're kind of pushing the flower to bloom when it just wants to it receive sunlight.
Mm,
you know so it's like,
right.
it's okay, sometimes you just need to chill. Yeah. So anyways, I don't know if it made any sense to you, but
It made
take
very
what
good
resonates.
sense. And you know what? Good advice. Good advice.
I'm a
Oh,
rambler, so I will ramble
yeah.
forever.
Yeah. No. What'd you say? What did you say?
I said I'm a rambler, so I can
You weren't rambling.
ramble
You
forever.
know what? You were collecting all the pieces and putting it together. And you know what? I don't call it rambling. Here's what I will say. Think that you know what? Sometimes we go around the board here, and we all come back to the center. So that's the real
Right.
is. Sometimes you have to go around in order to get to the point, right? Because we do
Yeah, I
need.
was going around, so I was moving around. So,
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing
because I
wrong with
guess, because I guess I'm processing it too, in my way. I've been
that.
thinking about this in the back burner, that what do I want to do, and like what is something that lights me up, um and I think that comparison puts me in resentment, which is something that I recognize is disrespecting yourself, because you're basically saying that I there's no need to compare, right? Like, it's sometimes you just need to chill. Just
That's yeah,
learning not is something hard. It's really hard for, especially, and um, we don't feel like we're doing anything um, to something. So it's like action is how we feel in control, but sometimes I think that not doing something is actually what helps the most, right? So, anyways, anyways, anyone else wants to add anything? We would love to hear from you. If you watch the replay, please,
yeah.
um, please throw a comment. If you want us to
Yeah.
speak about something,
You've read the
please
book.
reach out.
You have your own experience. Please put in
Please
the
read the
comments
book.
when you are watching the playback. You know,
Right.
what your experience was from the book, or you know what how it interpret itself in your own life. You know, because I once again listen. I thought this book was filled with not a huge book. It's not a big read. It is not a big read, but it's packed
It's
with
not.
lessons. If you are
It
open in
is.
knowing that, and as I said, the universe co-conspires with you to give you exactly what you want. But you got to be in harmony and lined up with the universe first, and acknowledging it,
Mm,
noticing the signs, all of those things. So it's about your awareness. What is your awareness? Well, it's more
wow,
than
that is true.
that.
No, I was just, you know,
But we
Absolutely.
should,
What Hilda said.
you think we should wrap it up?
What's that?
Do you
Yes, we should wrap it up. It's been a while. So absolutely. You can reach out to Hilda on her channel, Nova
agree?
Scotia's Organic to the Land
Mm.
Stories. Like, share, subscribe. Um, there's, like she said, she's not posting much, but then we do get together every Friday, alternating between our channels. And if you would like us to talk about something that's on your mind, like, please feel free to reach out. Our emails are in the description, YouTube description box on our channel. So it was a pleasure to have you, Hilda, like always. It's making me think. This book is making me think, okay?
It's
Because,
a pleasure always to be here, and a pleasure to have this
yeah,
conversation. As I said, I love our conversations because what folk don't know is we can be off in the back and having just as a powerful conversation. Maybe I'll be a little bit more excited and demonstrative because I can be, but that's what I love with our conversations because they can be
right.
all over the place, but we always land.
Right. That's the point, right? It's not about aesthetics, it's about keeping it real. And
Mm,
I don't like bookish language or bookish knowledge, neither does Hilda. And that's why I guess we connect, and
wait,
we kind of attract the same kind of people too. So that's amazing. Um, but yeah, we'll see you next Friday on Hilda's channel. Not sure what we're
definitely.
talking about, but
Well,
but
what
I
is
guess
to
you will
be
know soon.
figured out, but please put in the chat or you know what, reach out to Revneet and seeing that you were watching us via her channel, reach out to her,
Right.
give us some suggestions on things that you would like us to see
Yeah.
that you would see us talk about because we're always open to having the conversations, and I believe that we are having conversations that not only are helping to bring change, but we're having conversations that you know what most people want to have, but really don't know how to start them. So we are the conversation starters, is what I'd like to see. We are the people that are
I
out there
like
speaking
that.
what most people don't want to speak
Right.
because either you have not found your courage, you've not found your throat chakra, and you didn't even feel that you know what it was possible. But we're here,
Mm.
conversation. So
I
and
like the conversation starters. I don't
everybody,
like, yeah,
well,
I like the term conversation starters because that's exactly what we're doing. We're not here to give you answers. We're just here to facilitate, I guess, to
so
think in
conversation.
different ways, right? Right. And facilitate conversations. So absolutely. So it was a pleasure to have you, Hilda, and the others. Thank you so much. You have a great day or night wherever you are, and we will see you again.
Bye.
Goodbye. Bye, Hilda. Bye.
Thanks for me.
Thank you. Bye.